The list of Republican states preparing to challenge the Biden administration's recent rewrite of Title IX rules continues to grow. As yesterday, officials in my home state of Louisiana announced that they have filed a lawsuit against the Department of Education for these new regulations that redefine sex. Now, this comes as other red states file lawsuits of their own that have announced their schools will not comply with these measures that would redefine the category of sex as gender identity. Now, again, this is why elections matter. I know we focus a lot on the national elections, and we should, but state elections matter. And we've got good governors, we've got good lawmakers, and we've got good attorney generals that are fighting these regulations at the state level. Well, joining me now is one of these good state attorneys general, Louisiana's Attorney General Liz Murrill. Liz, welcome to Washington Watch.
Thanks, Tony. It's great to be with you.
Now, you said if these Title IX rules stand, they will be the very essence of Title IX and destroy decades of advances in equal educational opportunities, especially for women and girls. Tell us why you and Governor Landry are determined to stop this.
Well, Tony, you know, Title IX was signed by President Nixon in 1972 after examining and finding pervasive discrimination against women in educational opportunities. And for 50 years, it's been enormously successful in providing and facilitating opportunities for women in equal measure with men in the biological sexes sense. And so that law has been adopted and implemented for 50 years based on an assumption of biological gender. You simply cannot implement it. The gender identity definition is completely contradictory to any fixed biological gender. So you can't comply with these rules. You're damned if you do. You are damned if you don't. You know, if you do it, then you literally discriminate against the women in the very law that was created to protect women.
Which is advanced.
If you don't do it, then
it's advanced women's sports. It's given women a lot of opportunity in sports. It's created really a whole new industry of women's sports. But it's even more than that. And you talked about this yesterday. But tell our listeners about the practical effect that these rules would have day in and day out on students.
Well, I think that they're going to create this. They're going to turn education, I mean, all the way from kindergarten through, high school through higher ed into a propaganda machine. You know, I mean, it's especially damaging, I think, with the youngest of our children, because they will grow up being taught to ask other children what their pronoun preferences are. And if they don't get that right, or if they disagree with it, let's just say that you've got a 6-year-old or a 5-year-old who just fundamentally doesn't really agree with it because they see natural differences between the sexes. And they're like, you're not a boy, you're a girl, or you're not a girl, you're a boy. That child can be punished. Any adult who doesn't punish or act on it can be punished. I mean, it is creating a punishment system for disagreeing with their gender ideology. And that is not what Title IX was ever meant to do. It was intended to create opportunities for biological women. What
happens to free speech?
It's gone in this process. There is no free speech.
Wow. So lay out for us the actions that you are taking on behalf of the citizens of Louisiana, of which I'm one.
Well, 13 minutes after the rule was published, I filed my lawsuit, along with Mississippi, whose Attorney General is Lynn Fitch, and she's been a great leader on this topic as well, Austin Knudsen from Montana, and Raul Labrador from Idaho. So and the Department of Education. So Cade Brumley in our Department of Education has also been a great leader on this, and he has advised all of our school districts not to comply. Not to make any changes because it exposes them to discrimination complaints if they comply.
Are you hopeful to get a favorable ruling out of the federal courts in Louisiana?
I am, and I know that there are a number of other states that are filing. Texas has filed. Alabama led a coalition of states, and some other organizations joined them in their lawsuit. And so I know that there will be more coming. You know, I think there will be a crush of lawsuits, and I'm confident that there will be an injunction that will be issued soon. The rule doesn't technically take effect till August 1st, but there's training and all kinds of other things that I think that have to start now. So I see no reason to wait for any of us to file for injunctive relief, because otherwise we would never be prepared to comply on August 1st.
Right, for the next school year. Attorney General Liz Murrill, thank you so much for joining us today. Always great to talk with you.